Welcome to the Fleet Geeks Podcast. We're here to help develop fleet and transport professionals. Do you want to progress and develop your skills and knowledge? We promise to bring lively conversation and debate around interesting issues and keep you bang up to date with changes in our awesome industry. The Fleet Geeks are a community of professionals, and if you enjoy the podcast, why not join the discussion for free in the Fleet Geek community over on Facebook. Good day, fellow geeks.
Good day, fellow geeks. And you'll notice that there is only the two of us on this particular podcast. The third wheel, if you like, Jamie, is currently not available for us. And so let's hope he is the other listener then today on this.
He's away. It's his birthday's coming up, actually, as we record
of course
this.
It is, yes.
He's turning the ripe old age of 41.
He's a busy week for birthdays in the flagship family, isn't it, really? But yeah, definitely. So what's the subject, Pete? You want to tell me what the subject for this podcast is?
What is a transport manager CPC refresher?
CPC?
Question mark.
Because
and I think you're well positioned to answer this, as you've been busy writing the flagship one, aren't you?
I have been indeed, yes, and it's something I wanted to get my teeth into for a long time now. And presenting courses is one thing, and I've well versed in presenting all a range of courses that we offer, including, of course, Transport Manager. But this is an opportunity now to put our stamp, our own unique Fleet Geek stamp, or flagship partner stamp on a CPC refresher. So what is it? Well, a lot of people always ask when they do their transport manager exam, at the end of it, it's normally, oh my God, I've never got to do that again, have I? That's it now, is it? I'm finished, am I? Yes. I never want to relive those 2 weeks. And the good news there is that folks know you don't. Once you've achieved that magnificent certificate, it's yours for life, unless for some reason you're up in front of the traffic commissioner and having to explain your ways, then it's something that stays with you. But the traffic commissioners would expect that transport managers keep relevant. That's part of what they should be doing. So we're going to be looking always for continuous professional development. So that is the expectation, and I think if you've probably come across this more than I have in terms of applications, Pete. But is it not a requirement that when you apply for to be named as a transport manager on operator's license, then there would be some expectation if you haven't qualified, if it's been more than 5 years since you qualified, then there will be some evidence required. Is that correct? Have I seen that correctly?
I think you have, yeah. So my understanding is that when we apply for an O license, or when we apply to change a transport manager, when that transport manager gets amended, I think largely without question, but I'm sure there's probably the odd occasion where it maybe slips through the net at the OTC, and some people will go, well, I never got asked for a refresher. It's certainly part of the Stat Doc 3 now that transport managers have to have ongoing CPD. And generally speaking, from my experience, the traffic commissioners are asking transport managers who have held the qualification for longer than 5 years, or where it's been longer than 5 years since their last CPC refresher, they're being asked to carry out a CPC refresher or transport manager CPC refresher prior to being nominated on a license as a transport manager.
Yeah, you certainly see if you look at A's and D's applications and decisions, there's certainly additional undertakings on the license that require that kind of thing as well. So so it becomes then a must-have. We must do this, and ourselves, like any other training organisation, we're more than happy to have people along who are there because they want to, they need to. If you like, keep that CPD going. So I also would suggest that there are lots and lots of people that would benefit from a CPC refresher. And, I often think about the title, and I think traditionally all of our, for want of a better word, competitors, use the title CPC refresher. maybe there's a case for a slightly different name for it, because that would suggest that the only purpose it exists in life is to basically tick that box and say, yes, I've done my CPD. But I don't know whether you agree with me here, Pete, but I think it would be an excellent idea as well for those people that are engaged on a restricted license. So with a restricted license, that there isn't a requirement to have named on that license a person with professional competence. Doesn't mean to say you don't have to have a transport. People will say, "Oh, you don't need a transport manager then." Well, of course, a transport manager is if you're running HGVs, it's kind of like, wouldn't it be almost a prerequisite, I would have thought. So what do you think about restricted operators license, and who from a restricted operators license should attend a CPC refresher then, Pete, do you think?
Yeah, so essentially a restricted operator has to have a responsible person who's responsible for that fleet. Whether they're called the transport manager or the cleaner, it doesn't necessarily really matter. But that person who ensures that drivers, essentially the restricted operator still has to ensure that they monitor and monitor and manage drivers' behaviour and infringements. They need to ensure that they manage maintenance properly for the fleet. So that transport manager's role is still being carried out. It just so happens that for a restricted, you don't have to nominate the transport manager as a CPC holder on the licence. So absolutely that person needs to have some understanding of the CPC role, but they could have not passed the qualification, and that will be satisfactory for the traffic commissioner, so long as they're carrying out the role in a sufficient manner and have continuous and effective management of the operator's license. So therefore, what better way to ensure that happens, particularly as they're not pre-qualified, for someone who runs a restricted O license. They're not necessarily pre-qualified, so therefore a CPC refresher would be a fantastic opportunity for them to really understand what's involved. And I think the benefits of going on a CPC refresher far outweigh actually, and I'm not sure if this is sort of a commonly held situation that people think about, but when you imagine people going to train for the transport manager CPC, largely speaking, that group of people are fairly probably green around the gills and sort of learning and learning the business. But actually the opportunity for a CPC refresher is that you've got a broad range of people with different experiences from across the industry. And that then creates a fantastic learning opportunity and networking opportunity for people to go and network the business they're working for, or speak to people and learn, because there's going to be some war stories, right?
Absolutely. And people's experiences, one person's experience is another person's avoidance of that experience or pitfall, or indeed a success. Let's share it equally, where somebody says, we do this and we achieve that, and you know what, we never thought of that. That's a great idea. And absolutely. And I've tried to, again, without sort of turning these into pitches, but in our CPC refresher, I've tried to sort of mirror what we try to do as Fleet Geeks and as a flagship partner team, in terms of embed those experiences into that course. So you won't just get there's quite a bit of information to impart on people, because there's a lot to forget. So there's quite a bit to cover, but it's not going to be just a session or sessions that involve going over a load of slides and saying you must do this, and if you don't do that you'll get this, and it's about sharing that sort of experience with people and networking, learning from people, and very much in the image that we create this whole community with. So I'm very much looking forward to giving it its run out, as it were. We very much look forward to inviting people along to that and see where that one goes. But
Hi, it's Pete from Flagship Partners. We're really proud to sponsor the Fleet Geeks podcast.
Flagship partners offer a range of consultancy and training services to ensure that our customers remain compliant and have the best possible knowledge to be able to fulfill their work. If you're interested in support with any of our safety, HR or compliance services, or you want to train to be a transport manager or need driver CPC training, give us a call today.
What does it do then? What's in it? If we open the box and have a look what's in it, I think the usual suspects are in there. We're going to talk about operator licensing. And again, we're going to be looking towards the post, what would a transport manager be looking to do, including things like the administration of an operator's license. We quite often forget that somebody has to look after the nuts and, we have to look after the things that we know that we have to look after in terms of, driver's hours, blah, blah, blah. But there's the other side to it as well, the administration of the operator's license, making sure that the vehicles are going on and off correctly, making sure that the directors listed are listed on the operator's license and company's house. So that kind of thing as well. I think post-qualification, a lot of people will eventually get into that kind of thing. So we've got operator licensing, how to change a license, because I think, again, at that stage, it'll be how people go about varying a license if they need to, add in operating centres. Imagine being a transport manager, newly qualified, and for the first time your boss comes in and your director comes in and says, look, we've got this new contract, we need to start this new operating centre, we've got the site, we've signed the lease on it, and, blah, blah, blah. When can we get it up and running? And you're thinking, rabbit caught between the headlights. Wow, I can't remember. I don't know when we should be doing that. That's part of operator licensing. Driver's hours, that's a culprit that we're going to be finding in there. But again, I think we'll be shifting the focus slightly, not towards what the driver's hours are. We will cover that. But I think on how to deal with infringements and how to deal with escalating issues with infringements, and how to, for me, the most important element of that is how to encourage drivers and train drivers and coach drivers. We've got a problem at the minute with manual entries and things like that. So focusing on those areas, the maintenance, massive subject. We're not going to pretend to teach you how to change a gearbox on a Scania or a back axle on a DAF. We're going to be looking at the bits that a transport manager, from a non-technical point of view, for the bits that a transport manager is going to have to keep ahead of, including how to build relationships, a whole new podcast that you'll see shortly as well about dealing with your external maintenance providers. Driver licensing, always an interesting topic. People never quite, all my experience with driver licensing is it's one of those subjects, people think they know it, and then actually when you start digging down into it, there's one or two little left field things that can come and surprise us. That's that, and we're going to look at finance is the other thing as well, and everybody's going to go, oh, fine, we did that. That'll be the last thing we ever did. But try to bring it back and make it relevant to the transport manager and what the transport manager does. It's a 2-day course, and so the second day we're going to be looking. So the second sort of element of it is much more workshop focused, where we'll be looking at bringing problems into the workshops.
You're going to get people a bit more interactive, are you, Mike? On day
very
two?
Interactive with the second day. We're going to be looking at one of my particular hobbies, if you like, which is accident investigation. I don't think we give enough heed to accident investigation in our world. It's a requirement for fours. Any of you've got fours, it's a requirement. So accident investigation, performance monitoring, measuring in all sorts of areas, fuel, et cetera, et cetera. So very much focusing on that second day about, well, this is what we've learned on day one. How can we really bring that into practice and the things that will really make a difference to us as operators? So very excited, but that's essentially what we've got coming up. So what do you think to that, Pete? Is that something you and
I think it sounds fantastic, mate, and I think no one better to bring it to life than Mr. V himself. So it's I think it's a fantastic opportunity for people to get involved. We've got our first dates coming up in July. So I would say if you're listening and you need to get your CPC refresher, get in touch. I know there's companies that are offering it online, and I know there's people that are offering it probably for less money than flagship partners will offer it. But I really think that it's worth taking 2 days out of your business, because if you're in on Zoom, likelihood is you're in your business. Likelihood is you're distracted. Likelihood is your phone's going off. So get out your business, get your head out your backside, get along to us in Peterborough and have some lunch with us and spend some time with your your peers, essentially.
You'll meet some interesting people. I guarantee there'll be some interesting
absolutely.
We know some interesting folks.
The value's going to be in that. You never know. You might get a cameo appearance from me, and I might pop in and say hello and see how I can add a bit of value and have a conversation. But ultimately, you're going to be able to have an opportunity, like Mike's saying. We've really laboured over making sure that we deliver absolute value for people on the 2 days, and I think it's been orchestrated as such, in that people will have the opportunity to be able to share their challenges and be able to really get some answers and some support to help support them in their business, which I think is real value for people. So I think like anything flagship offer, I'll always stand on our money back guarantee, and that is that if people don't feel like they've got value, you could have your money back. Absolutely. And I haven't said it in a while, actually, Mike. And I tell you what, I was thinking about it the other day. When we first started, we used to market our driver CPC, and I thought you would absolutely love this. We haven't spoken about it for a while, but all of our CPC courses come with my no snore guarantee.
Yeah.
No snore guarantee for CPC. And I think it's much the same for the Transport Manager CPC Refresher. I know that many people will just think, oh my God, go and spend 2 days in a classroom and I just can't think of anything worse. Well, this is, if you, whatever you think it's going to be, this isn't like it. This isn't going to be like it. And if you don't do it with us, fine, do it with someone else. But the CPC refresher is invaluable. And I think it's a vital part of ongoing CPD. And if you're in the wrong part of the country, then fine too. And there's some really reputable training companies out there that offer it. I think it's well worth looking at, not going for the cheapest option. It's worth doing your research, and I know certainly over in the if you're based over in the west of the UK, there's some fantastic independent businesses there who might have former senior traffic commissioners working for them and that kind of thing, that I think could also be a good option for you. Absolutely. So we'll stay impartial on this, but I think it's definitely something for people to consider. So yeah, hopefully you've got a better idea of what a Transport Manager CPC refresher is off the back of that, Mike. What do you reckon?
I think hopefully people have got picked up the flavour of what it's going to be like. It's you got me at food. You got me at fed for 2 days. That was what the rest of it was. But yeah, I absolutely agree. But you will get. I absolutely promise you that you will come on that course and you will get value out of it, and as well as being fed. So absolutely look forward to seeing you. We've got. The dates coming up in July, and then I think we're going to start sort of planning properly next year, really rolling it out on a regular basis. Because I think once people realise the value of it, I think we're going to offer it. But again, feedback is absolutely vital to us. And you tell us when the best time is. When do you want it doing? When do you want us to deliver these courses? What is the best way to approach that, and we'll always happily take that feedback in. But very much looking forward to seeing the people. So I think the first course is fairly well booked up already, isn't it? And we're going to but we're going to have some more dates.
It's jam packed, and like you say, we'll have some more dates September, October time, and then we'll be getting out next year's dates very soon. And if you're a corporate leader of a large fleet, if you're a corporate or a leader of a large fleet and you're listening in and you're thinking, oh, how can I reward our transport managers and ensure that they're all singing off the same hymn sheet? Why not get us in for an in-house course? Because I tell you what, the value that could be delivered to a team of transport managers in the same businesses absolutely untold the value that could be brought to them by getting them all together in the room and knowledge sharing and challenge sharing and getting them some refresher training. That can really kickstart the quality of your fleet business. So there's a bit of food for thought, Mike, isn't there?
Oh, definitely. And we would work with, I think with our ethos, with our values, we would work very well with companies that give us a brief and we'll come in, it'll be a seamless, but even if it just starts a conversation, even if it just starts a process that the company then completes it, I think we'll bring value whatever we do. So
absolutely. So thank you for listening, and take care. Make sure you share it, and hopefully we'll see you on the CPC Refresher Day soon.
And see you on the next podcast.
Yeah, we'll see you on the next podcast day. Cheers, Mike. Catch you in a bit.
I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, please share with your friends and colleagues too. Join us for free on Facebook with the Fleet Geeks community for transport and fleet managers. Fleet Geeks offers ongoing professional development, networking and mentoring too. So get in touch with me, Pete Rushmer, on any social media platform to find out more.